I was told, get good grades, buy a house, get a good career, get a good job, retire at 65. I'm going to give you the 7 reasons of why I ditched the system, went into property, and now I have the freedom that most people only ever dream about. Yeah, so here's number 1. The system starts basically when we go into school, right? So school teaches compliance, not creativity. You see, when you are in school, you are basically punished for getting it wrong. There's only one right answer. You see, in real life, out there in the field, in business, property, entrepreneurship, you are rewarded for figuring it out. When you have problems and you find and navigate your way through by making mistakes, by having to be creative, by having to think outside of the box, this is where you get rewarded. And this is where property is the consistent practice of people doing their creativity. You see, like, people might want to do music, and like, I've helped loads of people, musicians and doctors and vets and school teachers who are very creative people, but they were kind of like stuck inside the system. When they get into property and then they start exercising their creativity on looking at floor plans, looking how to utilize the space, how to get more out of the space, how to make it a better living space, making it like more rentable, more sellable. These are like in designing, the people in architecture, the people in plumbing, and the people in the trades, where like they were just working like I was. Because when I left school, I actually then just went into like working on a building site. I had no idea about raising finance, being able to do the deals myself, be the developer myself, which I'll talk later about in this video as well. So stay tuned. But school, they teach this compliant, they teach this kind of conditional action. If you do this, you get that. If you kind of study and practice and memorize these answers, you will get X amount of score. And then this goes throughout the whole system, like, oh, if I work for this many days and this many hours, I will get this paycheck. Oh, if I am a good little citizen and I pay my national insurance, my tax, I can use the NHS system. So what property did for me was got me thinking outside the box. It wasn't just financial freedom, it was also then mind freedom, time freedom, to actually think for myself. And it wasn't until I started generating income and I was like, well, I don't need my job anymore. I don't need to be able to work with people that I don't even want to work with, or like I was settling to work with because I thought that was the way you work up your way up the political ladder in corporate companies and so on. I realized, well, actually, I can just go and do it by myself. I don't need to be in these places anymore. I don't need to go to 9 to 5 anymore. I can have more flexibility. And when it gave me the mind freedom and it took me into creativity rather than just being in compliance, it was a whole different game. This leads me into number 2, which basically is the job equals trap. So there's loads of variations of like just over broke and all of this stuff. But what I have experienced, and I've helped many other people come to the realization, and they came to the realization themselves and shared it with me, and we resonated with each other, is we are kept just busy enough and we get paid just enough money to be able to like feel the sense of security. But it basically is a trap. Like, you see, yesterday I went first of all to see one of my daughters in a trumpet concert. Then later in the afternoon I was able to go to another place with one of my sons, to be able to explore what kind of activities he can do. And then later I went and played paddle with my partner Nikcha, and we were still getting work done in between. Why? Because we're working on property deals, we're getting back to solicitors, we've got things in motion, other refinances, there's a sale going through on a flip project that we've done. So it isn't me just sitting behind a desk for 40 hours a week. I mean, basically, when I was in the corporate industry, I was sitting behind a desk for 100 hours a week. So if you are sitting like 30 hours, 37 hours, 40 hours, whatever it is, and you feel stuck, you're trapped, well then good, because you have now a sense of awareness that kind of system, that mechanism is a trap. So number 3, school never taught me about money, and nowhere in the system from youth into my teenage years, into my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, my 50s and 60s, for those people, obviously I'm not in my 40s and 50s and 60s, but you're never taught about money any step of the way, anywhere. Like all the ways to creatively make money, get money to work for you. The best, at very best, it's like, hey, stick it in the bank, and get some kind of investment return or whatever, which again is a trap. You and we need ways to be able to get money to work for ourselves. It isn't just about work hard and save your way to success. I mean, can you play the game of Monopoly and basically win the game of Monopoly just by passing go? You know, here's the funny thing is, if you hang around or play the game with a load of people who just keep passing go, none of them buy any assets, you'll be able to just keep going around, you'll keep going around, you'll have enough money, but is that really life? You know, if you don't learn about money, and what property did for me, it got me to learn about money. I needed to understand budgeting. I need to understand, okay, this is what I think it's going to cost me. Well, this is what it actually cost me. Okay, what happened? Did I stay on track? What did I do it less money? Was it more money? It taught me about profit and loss. It taught me about balance sheets. And really, like in maths lessons, I was learning how to add and, you know, subtract and multiply and all of this. I mean, I didn't learn any algebra or trigonometry or anything like that. I wasn't even in top sets. They put me in bottom sets, made me hang around with other people who were in bottom sets. So we were just kind of playing that small game. So here's another thing about property development is it allows me to go and play and network with players that are doing £30 million deals, £50 million deals, £1 million, £500,000, and it actually allows the landscape of the people that you can hang around with, network with, and learn from to be very diverse. In fact, you know, one of the things that I built Real Life for was to have a community and have a load of people that I want to work together, and this is why we continue to run this community, because it's like, hey, listen, if we train together and we get strong in terms of knowing how to find deals, make them stack, do them properly, run successful businesses, be able to raise money, then we can all work together. You know, project managers, architects, and the builders and so on. If we all know how to make these deals stack, then we can work together, which is another thing that the system doesn't teach. In school, you're not working together. You're working, you know, solo by yourself. You can't look at somebody else's work. You can't even copy someone else's work. That's called cheating. Yeah. In business world, it's called modeling. Yeah. In the business world, we actually get rewarded to work with other businesses. But again, the business world, they don't show that, they don't talk about that. They're just like, you know, if you make profit, they can't make profit. If you get the sale, they don't get the sale. Yeah, which it doesn't work like that. If we start working out, okay, what are we good at? What do we bring to the table? How can we collaborate? And this is what property development is, a collaboration of a load of people coming together where we all benefit. Yeah, number 4. Yeah, this was a big thing because I didn't actually know I wanted this. And again, this is why we created the UFN, the Ultimate Freedom Network, because most people's goal is wrong. You know, the real goal is freedom. You see, I made my goal making money. Yeah, and what all that did was made me chase money. Yeah, before that, when it was like a corporate world or in the education system, it's like everything is down to a schedule. Yeah, and the schedule, the bell rings, you go here, you move to this place, whether you finished or not, whether you generated a result or not. You see, in the real world, yeah, in real life, in this business property entrepreneur world, what I realized is, hey, listen, if I get the result sooner, I can now do what I want. I don't have to stay there for the hour. I don't have to stay there 9 till 5. Like, let's put it this way. If you do your job faster and you're 9 to 5, what do they ask you to do? You got to stay there. Carry on doing more work. How can you do more of this? Rather than actually, well, if I get the job done, if I hit my targets, if I want to make £100,000, you know, in a quarter, and I hit that £100,000, or I can see I'm on track, and I'm seeing I'm on track for building the pipeline for the next quarter's £100,000, then like, what could I do? I can go and play with my children. I can go to have day trips. I can, you know, book another vacation. I can spend more time going on date nights, date mornings, date days, date weekends. You see the difference between real freedom and then saying, hey, listen, you work 5 days a week, work 7 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever it is. You need flexibility, or at least I wanted flexibility. And this is what property development brings, because there's not always something to do. Things are in motion. Solicitors are working, brokers are working, banks are working, my builders, my project managers are working, the people who, you know, find the deals, or if we're finding the deals, like, you have to do things, and then there's a waiting time. So there's actually flexibility in between, and that's what I love. Now, here's a big one. Number 5 is school never taught me emotional intelligence. You know, if anything, I have had to spend like the last, 10 years of my life undoing all of the emotional trauma from all the school, the bullying, the being not, called clever, called stupid, going into the world, having to pay bills, and no one really rehearsed me on how to be emotionally intelligent. Intellectually, oh yeah, read from a textbook, yeah, of course. course, that's the system, isn't it? But now, these days, emotional intelligence, oh my goodness, if I can hire people, I can work with people who are emotionally intelligent, switched on, streetwise, yeah, then oh my goodness, this is another level. Now, in the property world, emotional intelligence is very important because we have to do things based on formulas, not feelings. Yeah, so if my emotional intelligence is very low, yeah, then what happens is I'll start making decisions silly. So even if I'm really confident, I'll go into deals I shouldn't. Yeah, but then if I'm not feeling confident for whatever reason, I will not go into deals that I should have gone in. Yeah, so when we have a system where we have a step-by-step criteria, which is this is the formula, I don't decide whether I do the deal. The formula decides whether we do the deal. You know, because here's another thing. It's like if we're not having a good time, maybe me and Nikki arguing, or something's not going well, I don't feel too good, something like this, then that can affect what decisions I make because of emotional. It's like a boxer or a tennis player. Yeah, if they start getting angry, there's no way they're going to win. Yeah, so emotional intelligence was not taught in the system, and it's not taught in the system. But in the world of business and property entrepreneurship, emotional intelligence, very important to be able to stay true to your formula, understand your goals, the steps that you got to get there to do the right property deals, to make the money and get the freedom, which is the goal. Yeah, also, number 6, yeah, the system, the school system, the corporate system, basically by default, you are surrounded by people with small goals, small ambitions, if any ambition at all. Yeah, all they want to do is get their paycheck. They just want to, be able to pay their bills, go on holiday, have a bit of spare cash. They want to have someone to whinge and blame and complain and point the finger at and all the rest of it. Basically, I remember when I started coming out with big goals like, I'm going to build a multi-million-pound portfolio using other people's money. People just started laughing at me. People, I was in IT business with people who were from the construction trade. They just started laughing, like, no, you can't, you can't do that, and all the other stuff that comes with it, right? And because they have small goals. Now, look, you need to spend time around people that make your goals more real. Yes, go for it. Yes, you can do it. Yes, have the freedom. Yes, be able to go on holiday for 6 weeks at a time, 12 weeks at a time, have 1 year off, go and live in a different country and build your portfolio and your empire remotely. Yeah, because this is what we are doing. I mean, I still live here in the UK. I love the UK and I love playing the game in the UK, but other people, either from other countries or they were in the UK, that moved to other countries, we help them through the systems, through the step-by-step processes that we're all operating by. Number 7, baby, this is where results don't lie. You see, in the beginning, I was able to build a portfolio of over £4.5 million just in the first 18 months, and then build it to over £8 million just in the first 3 years. Yeah, but also in that first 3 years, I did over £16 million worth of deals because we weren't just buying and holding, we were also selling on, lots of flips, did new builds and sold them and so on, splitting titles and selling off and all of this great stuff. Yeah, I sold some HMOs, some great uplift in HMOs. I can buy a house for around 90 to 100,000, be able to do it up, keep it for a couple of years, and then sell it on triple the price, 291,000. I remember I bought one at 95, sold it for 291. Bought another one at we bought another one at 95, actually sold it at 250. We bought one at 180,000, sold it at 350. This uplift that you can use, and this is where the results don't lie. You see, real life community, the training that we have provided, the standards, the coaching, the mentoring, the support has seen us do over 1,000 deals. And by the way, we're not like some massive community with thousands of people in it. Like, we're just like a few hundred people. And we've raised over £100 million in private finance. Yeah, so none of this was taught, none of this was available, none of this was even in my thought process while I was in the system. Why? Because it was keeping me just busy enough to be like, okay, I got to pay my bills, or okay, maybe in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years time, I can retire or have more money or have more time. And it's always like the dangling of the carrot. Right now in the business world, what I am able to do is I am able to decide my schedule, choose my days, choose the people I want to work with, yeah, and I can have it on rotation. I've had to kiss a few frogs along the way, which is why now we help people direct them in the place of the greatest members of power team for project management and deal sourcers and builders and the solicitors, the brokers, the architects, because if you don't go to the people off recommendation, oh my God, that can be a tough gig, just like what I was doing in the beginning. Now, look, I've made millions of pounds. I've also lost millions, yeah, which is insane. But fortunately, just like Roger Federer said, I have won more than I have not. Yeah, but it's the fine margins. Yeah, so if you want to start having a look at, like, okay, what are these fine margins? If you're already a hard worker, if you're already someone who's committed and you've been going to work every day for many years, you've been paying your mortgage, you've been paying your taxes, you've been doing whatever, paying your bills, and now it's time for more, get yourself into the Ultimate Freedom Network. Before you go spend any money anywhere with anyone, get into that network, show up to our free sessions, come to our real life on tour site days and see us doing real deals in the real world. Get to the deal room, see me doing deals live in just my workspace. No filter, no fancy studio, none of that jargon. Basically just right, hardcore, real, doing it as it is. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what other areas of property or business that you would like to know about in the comments, or send me direct messages. And until next time, do the right thing for the right reason, because it is the only way to discover your true potential.